Welcome to MC201, Mass Media in Society, for this winter session, 2017-2018. This online class will cover topics in an introductory level relating to mass media in society. I'm your professor, Mark Pepsel. This class runs over the next 3 weeks, from December 18th through the final on January 5th. Today, we only have one main goal. This is me. There we go. I'm Mark Pepsel. Nice to meet you. Our main goal today is just to cover the syllabus and make sure that you're aware of the class and how it will run. This is a weekday class, Monday through Friday, with essentially we're covering 1 week's worth of material each day over the next 3 weeks. So the pace is pretty rapid. I've taken out some of the paper writing and library assignment stuff that I would do in a full semester, but I'm leaving in all of the core concepts and theories. And this is based off of a textbook that I wrote, so I'm pretty familiar with the material. And I'm going to revise the textbook so it's up to date with material from as recent as a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago in some cases, in terms of examples, just to keep the thing kind of interesting and fresh. So all we're doing today is taking a look at the syllabus. Let me get over there. Taking a look at the syllabus and making sure you're familiar with how the class will run. And I can poke around and show you what the textbook is going to look like that you're going to read. It'll look like this. If you come over to the textbook and it has these comments, annotations available, you can give me comments if you want, but you don't have to. You don't get any extra credit for offering your comments. You can just push that over there and read the textbook there. And I'm going to provide links to you. It'll basically be a link like this over in Blackboard every day for you to read the related materials. But for now, we're going to start really simple. We're just going to go over the syllabus. I'm going to tell you how quizzes work. There will be a quiz over the syllabus. As I do these video lectures, basically I go over the stuff that I wrote or revised and break it down for you in a lecture format. Hopefully the video lectures only take about 30 minutes, but I do tend to talk a lot. So some days they might go 45 minutes. As I'm doing the lecture, I'm writing notes, and you can probably tell when I slow down to jot down a topic that I want to ask a question on, and those will be the lecture quizzes. So let's just jump over to the syllabus. I'll take you through it. This is going, like I said, from December 18th through January 5th. The course catalog describes this text as an analysis of mass media focusing on technological, economic, governmental, and societal impact. So this is not a real deep class. This is something that we might call inch deep, mile wide, sort of a survey of key concepts about how mass media and society and culture all relate to one another. The fun thing is that the field is changing all the time as information and communication technologies change all the time. Sort of the downside is things are changing all the time as information and communication technologies change. It doesn't have a direct effect. I wouldn't say that, I wouldn't take a technological determinism view and say that technology makes society do things. But on the other hand, it definitely opens up a lot of changes. And so you see changes in society and changes in culture as networked communication technologies continue to spread and take hold and possibly to change with regulation, deregulation in the future. So that's a lot for you to take in. For now, let's just look at course objectives. Get an understanding of key mass media concepts and theories. Learn how to critically evaluate media channels and products and people who produce stuff. Become more aware of your own media habits and your role as a producer, a person who is both a producer and a user of mass media content in relation to social media in particular. Also, you want to gain an understanding of the ways media, culture, and society relate. We'll go into a lot of depth about that and talk about that in a lot of different ways over the next 3 weeks. And you've got to be able to relate changes in information communication technologies with changes in mass media structures and products, and relate those changes to the related social and cultural change, the stuff I was just talking about. So in kind of more lay terms, kind of taking it out of the syllabus context, before you'd have social media available on everyone's smartphone, It wasn't as easy for everybody to comment on every topic, every current events topic all the time. And so just opening up that capacity raises the level of expectation and also lowers the level of expectation for the way people might engage with their politics. It kind of broadens it out, and it's not necessarily going to happen that everybody does that, but the capacity for really high engagement with the news of the day is there because we have Twitter and we have Facebook and we can share and we can post our comments. And without the change in information communication technologies that open social media up to everybody, that wouldn't have been there. But on the other hand, there's a downside. There's a lot of negative communication and misinformation that comes along at the same time. And so, obviously that's kind of top of mind because of national and global politics right now. But that's just one example of how a changing technology like the introduction of kind of always available social media content and commentary can open up societal change, kind of open up society for change, open up culture for change. All right, so we'll get into that in more detail later. Technical competencies, you got to be able to access Blackboard. Everything's going to work. Everything's going to be run through Blackboard in this class. The textbook is called Media, Society, Culture, and You. It's a free open source text, which I am in the process of revising. It's based on an ebook that I wrote in 2015, posted on Apple's platform back in the day when I had a freshman seminar, and this was like an in-class 25-person seminar. Everybody had iPads, and I did a lot of other stuff like have them shoot videos and have work on a video project. I wrote 2 papers for this class. We don't have time to do that in 3 weeks, so this is basically just content, quiz, exam each week, and then on the final Friday it's going to be a cumulative final exam, which that's this over here. This little note in a box just says we have stuff going throughout the entire 3 weeks. What I did was I decided I'm going to make the Christmas and New Year's Day lectures and quizzes available a little early, so the only benefit that you get is you can get them knocked out over the weekend beforehand, so you can still have your Christmas Day and New Year's Day. That's about all I can do because we got to cover that content, and those days just happen to be weekdays this year, this time around for this winter session. So we're going to deal with it that way. You can take the stuff early, or you can take it on Christmas Day. I'll try not to make the Christmas or New Year's quizzes too hard, but we do have to cover that content somehow. So that's what I'll do. Quizzes Monday through Thursday each week. There will be 12 quizzes, so 1 per day for 4 days a week for 3 weeks. 25 points each, possible 300 points. So not quite a third of your grade on quizzes. Friday exams, those will be 2 100-point exams each Friday, and there'll be review video lectures for each of those. And then the final exam is worth half your grade. It's cumulative, and it's going to be Friday, January 5th. And I think I get to it further down, but the basic idea with the final exam is there's going to be a whole review day the day before on January 4th. That's a video lecture. And there's going to be, that's the one that's going to be more like a real exam, like multiple choice and short answer and essay stuff. So those will take me a while to grade. You probably won't get your final grades for this class until maybe a week later, January 12th or something like that. But there will be reviews all the way through. Okay. Total points, if you hit anywhere between 900 and 1,000, you'll get an A. Anywhere between 800 and 899 will be a B. I'm not going to round up. You got to get 900 points to get the A, and so on and so on, so forth. Like I said, reviews are provided each day. Plagiarism, this is all posted in SIUE, the Student Academic Code and Conduct Code. You're not going to have many opportunities to plagiarize because there's not a lot of independent writing going on in this class. It's a lot of quizzes and sort of test taking, just with it being an online course. But there will be essay opportunities, and you want to be very careful to write those in your own words. Everything's going to be open notes. I mean, I don't know how I would make you close your notes for online tests. And so what I'll do is I'll kind of pack them. I'll give you exams with a lot of questions and not a ton of time to take them. So you'll have to study and review ahead of time, and you won't just sit there, Googling and searching for answers. And I'll reserve the right to ask questions related to the video lectures and how information is presented, not just stuff you can Google. So some of the examples that I use in the lectures, I'll probably put back into quizzes and tests just to make sure that you're paying attention not just to the concepts, but to the way they're presented and that you're actually watching the video lectures and stuff. So yeah, you're not going to have many opportunities to plagiarize, but wherever you do have an essay question, write it. Don't just cut and paste off the web. I will find out. The last time I failed a kid for plagiarizing or cheating was fall semester of 2015 in this class. I hated doing it. Don't make me do it again. The diversity statement. Department of Mass Communications curriculum is designed to foster student understanding of issues and perspectives that are inclusive in terms of race, ethnicity, and sexual orientation. It also strives to help instill an appreciation for the diversity of groups in a global society in relationship to communication. As such, producing work that panders to racism, sexism, classism, homophobia, xenophobia, or other social pathologies is not an acceptable way to intellectually or creatively express one's ideas and will not be tolerated. So yeah, you have freedom of expression. You can answer questions however you want. You can have your politics, but you can't insult or assault other people in this class verbally. Disability. If you have documented disability, it requires academic accommodations. Contact disability support services here. Social media policy. You're not required to share your real name. If there is any social media extra credit, you can use a pseudonym online and then just turn it in under turn in links under your real name in Blackboard, and that's how I'll know it's you. ITS is providing technical support for faculty and students during winter session. Attendance assistance, provided 24/7 during winter session, so that's good. They'll help with support for EID, Blackboard assistance, and such. And you can contact the help desk at 618-650-5500 if there are any problems. That's kind of their main line. You get the helpline that way, but they're pretty responsive. But that's good. I think in previous semesters, ITS was not always available during the entire winter session, previous winters, so now they're going to basically just stay open and do some troubleshooting with people. And I just realized you guys could probably see some of my previous selfies that I took down there. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll have to delete those off from, I don't know what I was trying to do, I guess. Get interesting profile pictures from something or other. Anyway, here's the agenda. Here's what you need to know. I like to give quiz answers in the video lectures, right? So each day you're going to get an online chapter assigned to you. Read it, depending on the day. You might also have an online article assigned. I might throw some other, news article or some, summary of an academic article or something at you that's available online. It'll be in a link on Blackboard. If I give you any other readings, read those too. It'll come to you in a folder like this. So this is like the main Blackboard page. Usually you land, when you come to the page, you land on announcements, right? And there's a lot of junk there. Go over to coursework and click on the days folder. There's only one day in there now. And there will be a video link in here, obviously, and there will be a quiz posted in here as an assessment thing. And if I have any other links, they'll be in here too, in between, the link. There'll also be a link to the reading itself. So check in coursework, click on it. There's going to be a link that goes out to each chapter. There'll be a video lecture, and there'll be a quiz. That's kind of the daily routine. And on Fridays, it's just going to link to a test. Here's an example of, actually this is kind of the overview of the whole text. That's my view when I'm editing the text. This is the introduction. I'm responsible for everything, the photos, the text, the links that are in here, any footnotes and whatnot. And so I take it very seriously, but it is a process of editing still. So I'm trying to update this thing so it's incredibly up to date, up to the minute for this class. it's worked well as a textbook in the past. Like here's chapter 1. It's worked pretty well, but needs some updating, some refreshing, and so I'm going to do that as we kind of go through this semester. So you'll get just one chapter at a time. I don't care if you try to click around and look through stuff, but if if things are still in the process of being updated, that's kind of up to me to work on. All you're responsible for in any given day is, I'll go ahead and put this on camera. All you're responsible for in any given day is to read one chapter, maybe 2 if it's like the introductory stuff. Watch one video lecture of about 30 minutes long. Take one quiz. That's usually limited to 5 minutes. So you gotta just prepare for the lecture quizzes and take them rather quickly. Tests on Fridays. Final exam the third Friday of this crazy 3-week semester. The text is written kind of in, I'd say, approachable language. What I did was I sort of tried to take like lecture material and then kind of build out from a lecture and flesh it out a little bit. And so it's going to sound a little bit more like spoken language. I have a background in broadcast journalism, so I tend to be like more of a storyteller than trying to write critical theory for 400 pages per chapter or something. So it is relatively easy to read, relatively approachable. I expect everybody to read everything for that reason. It's pretty simple reading, and you should be able to get through it pretty quickly. Let's go back to the syllabus. Let's see. There's going to be a lot of overlap between the Monday through Thursday quizzes and the Friday tests, and so that's kind of by design. There will be some stuff on the test each Friday that was not necessarily covered in an online quiz Monday through Thursday, but anything I assign to you to read, whether it's one of the chapters or an outside reading, is fair game for the Friday tests, but we're going to stay pretty close to home this semester, this really brief winter session. And what you can expect is the questions to come out of the readings, and for me to give you some heads up in these video lectures about what I'm likely to quiz you on. And there's going to be exam reviews, but I'm not just going to tell you answers. I'm just going to tell you like topics that are definitely ones you want to go back and review as you go back through the electronic textbook and go back through my lectures and stuff. So plenty of opportunity to get a lot of points here, but you will have to read this relatively easy book and make sure you take quizzes. I'm not going to make the quizzes reviewable. So what you need to do is either what you're going to need to do is go back and review the video lectures at the very least, because that's pretty closely related, and go back and read the text again before the exams. So here it is. You're already here, Monday, December 18th. Happy birthday to my wife. Syllabus overview. Check out the syllabus document. You're watching the video lecture right now, and there will be a quiz over the syllabus lecture. The first thing that I'll probably ask you about on this quiz is these course objectives. I'm not going to ask you to memorize things, but I think it's really important that you know the crux of this class is noting how changes in information communication technologies, they relate to, but don't cause, like directly cause, social and cultural change. That's the whole class right there. We're in a time of change in mass communications in our field, and it's related to information and communication technology changes related to the spread of the network society and network communication technologies. And we got to define society and define culture before we can talk about how each is changing in this relationship to mass media. But that's the real crux of the class. It is mass media and society. The text is called, the text is another thing I like to ask about. It's called Media, Society, Culture, and You. And there are a lot of textbooks out there in this field that are basically called media and culture or society and media or something like that. The reason I'm putting you in there is because of the social media aspect, because of the sort of widespread personalization of mass media content and the ability to comment and create your own. So the text title is Media, Society, Culture, and You. That's important to me. The class is based on 1,000 points. It's going to come 300 points through quizzes, 200 points through the regular exams each Friday up until, well, the first 2 Fridays. And then the final exam is Friday, January 5th, and it's worth half your grade. And the final is underscore cumulative. And there will be an exam review the Thursday, January 4th in video format. And again, if you are reading, watching the video lectures that are boiled down from the readings, taking the quizzes that are boiled down from that, if you are reading and doing all this stuff, the test should be relatively easy. And the final, it's all inclusive, but everything's fair game. But this is really only 10 chapters. They're pretty short chapters. And the video lectures and the quizzes are taking you kind of in a handheld walkthrough all the way through. So yeah, those are things. The core learning objective. What's the text called? The fact this is a 1,000-point class and that the final is cumulative. Those are real important things that you should take away. Looking ahead, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week, we'll cover chapters 1, 2, and 3. Again, I'll provide links for you each day. Friday, review and exam 1. I guess that's the other thing to note. The regular exams, the review day, the review video is released on the same day as the exam. So you're going to basically wake up in the morning, I don't know, wake up at noon, it's up to you, watch the video review, and then go and take the exam. Things are going to be open each day that I'll go to the video for this. Each day that there's like a quiz or a test every day in this class, and so it'll be available from whenever I post it, 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, all the way till midnight that day. That the hard part is not accessing it that day. The hard part is once you open a quiz, it'll only be available to you for 5 minutes, or maybe 6 or 7 minutes. I don't know. The tests are going to be up for 45 minutes to an hour. So you got to be able to go through these multiple choice tests relatively quickly and know your stuff. The exam's probably going to be up it'll be posted for a window of 4 hours, and then you'll be able to take it for up to 2 hours. And I got to leave it open just because there's some essay writing. It's going to take some people a little bit longer to sort of plan out and structure an essay response and then type it out. But it's all going to be done through Blackboard. So that's it's really important that you know that you know how to take multiple choice tests on Blackboard and quizzes, and go ahead and type in the box some short answer. When I say short answer for the final, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I mean I'll either ask you for 3 or 4 bullet points about a topic, or I'll ask you to type a sentence or 2. That's all I mean for short answer. All right, so let's go back over here. Chapters 1, 2, 3 this week in the syllabus lectures today, and then test 1. Then I'm going to post the Christmas Day stuff over film and bricolage. I'll explain what that means. I'm going to post that stuff on Christmas Eve, so you can theoretically watch everything on Sunday and bang out that lecture. And then you don't necessarily have to do anything on Christmas Day, or you can kind of spread it out over those 2 days. But we're back at it on the day after Christmas, chapter 5, 6, 7. And then Friday, December 29th, there is a video review. Exam 2 will be posted, both of those posted in the morning of December 29th. Then you're going to have a weekend, and that whole weekend, at some point on the 30th, 31st, January 1st, at some point on the 30th, I'll post the the chapter link and the video lecture and the quiz. So in theory, you could take that thing on December 30th. So you kind of plan ahead and have New Year's Eve and New Year's Day kind of to not be working on this class. Then January 2nd, we do Chapter 9, January 3rd, Chapter 10, and January 4th is an exam review video lecture provided. You're going to want to watch it a couple of times. I'm not going to just sit there and tell you answers. I'm not going to, I'm not going to give you word for word what's happening, but I am going to say, these topics are definitely on it. And then if I don't say a topic is on it, then it won't be on the final. I'll probably even give you an indication of what topics are more easily covered in short answer and what topics are, fair game for essay. But, spoiler alert, this whole class is about how changing information and communication technologies relate to changing society and culture. So if you can define society and define culture and talk about the key changes in information and communication technologies that we're experiencing right now, and then relate those things to each other in an essay, I'll give you a more kind of specific or more narrow kind of framework of an essay question, but that's probably what we're building to for the final essay question for this class. So heck, if you want to get started writing that now or outlining it, I don't care. Good for you. That's it. That's this whole class. Hopefully you learned a few things about it. If you have questions, this is important. Let's see if we can zoom in here. There we go. You can contact me. This is my actual cell phone, so don't use it for crazy stuff. You can text me, but I wouldn't if it's not important. Don't text me telling me you're sick or telling me that you had to leave town or whatever. I know people have to leave town. I don't really care. I really don't care where you're taking this quiz from. I just care that you're doing it. If you don't have access, that's your loss. You have to plan ahead for that. It's one of the reasons why I'm going to post Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and maybe a little earlier than that even, those quizzes and stuff and the materials for those days. So it's up to you to be prepared for sickness, for illness, or travel, or whatever. Get yourself to a computer where you can take the quiz each day and watch my lecture and read relatively quickly these chapters. This is my email address, mpoepse@siue.edu. And what else do I want you to know? Oh, we're doing video chats once per week, and I'll explain more about that later. But what will happen is I'll create a Zoom, that's this program right here. I'll create a Zoom link, and you're gonna wanna click on that link, and it'll prompt you to download the software, or just to call in. It'll give you a call-in number if you don't want to do the video chat, which I understand. But Zoom is really easy to set up on most platforms. It works on Mac and it works on PC. And I just want to check in with you once a week. How am I going to do that? All I'm going to do is basically just put a little checkbox in Blackboard if you've talked to me that week, and then it'll be like a yes or a no. And then I'll go back at the end of the semester, and if you haven't checked in with me each week, then I'll take a letter grade off your grade. Just to keep you honest, make sure you're following with the class, and that there's a real person on the other end of the line, that you are you, and that you are the individual taking this class, and that you are, more importantly, that you're following through with stuff, and that if you have any questions, we know you'll check in. These classes are so weird online. There's almost no touch with the actual professor. So this is a way just for me to check in, make sure that you're actually doing it. I taught MC 202 last winter, the writing class, and I actually would screen share with people and go over their essays, go over their reporting and writing, media writing assignments. And that was crazy with just 12 people. So I'm not going to be sitting here reviewing quizzes with you or anything like that. But Zoom does have some pretty cool capabilities for screen sharing and stuff. And I know it works. I know that people can download it relatively easy and talk with me, because I did it a year ago at about this time. So that's really it. there's questions, you can feel free, like I said, to email me. Blackboard doesn't look very built out right now. I know that. It's kind of really bare bones. But you just want to basically going to want to go back to coursework every day. And we'll do everything through there. And I tend to put the new folders on top. So each day, just check the top of coursework for that day's folder and check out the chapter. There'll be a link to something like this. Check out the lecture video, and then the quiz will come straight out of the video. So that's it. We hit on core concepts of the syllabus in terms of course objectives. What's the textbook called? What's the point system that we use? The final is cumulative. I want you to know that. And there's going to be, let's see, what was the last thing I was talking about? Regular exams. Yeah, for the regular exams on those Fridays, the first 2 Fridays, there's going to be a review video released the same day, and I focus on that just because there's you got to be prepared for that. There's not going to be like a couple of days to review for an exam. That's just because it's a 3-week class. You're going to get an exam review video on the same day that you actually take the test. So I would suggest, for practical purposes, that you watch the exam review, go study for a couple hours, for a few hours, go back through a couple hours, I guess. Go back and find all those terms and make sure you can define them. And then click to start the test, because once you click to start the test, you're going to have whatever it is, 45 minutes, 50, 55 minutes, or an hour to go through and take that exam, and that'll be your only shot at it. It'll submit your score once you pop out of the test. So when you do decide to take an exam, make sure that you mean to finish it and that you have 45 minutes or an hour that you can get through it. Some of you are going to be really smart and you're going to read through this stuff and you're going to find it super easy, and you're going to take my multiple choice test in like 20 minutes. That's fine. Some of you are going to need to really read and think or whatever. Maybe I'll give you 45 minutes or an hour to take each exam. It should not be long enough for you to sit there and like search for every answer. Some of the answers are going to come from my lectures anyway, and this kind of format. But yeah, it's important that you know that the exam review happens, and then immediately you go and you go study, and then you go take the exam on that same day. It's just part of the deal with taking a winter class. By my count, there's about, actually I can't show you that. I don't want to show everybody in class, everybody else who's a user on the class, but I think there's 26 or 27 people in it. And I really hope that you enjoy the class. I don't know if everybody in here is going to end up being a mass comm major, and you're knocking this class out to get started on the major ahead of time, or if you just need some crazy winter elective. Either way, you're going to learn a lot about the mass media. You're going to learn a lot about different media channels, and you're going to learn a lot about the relationship between changes in mass media and changes in society and culture. This is not much of an overview because we're doing that tomorrow, but the basic idea of this class is we do an overview of how mass media are changing, and we define society and we define culture, and then we try to go one by one through the different mass media channels. Digital gaming and filmmaking and radio broadcasting and podcasting and the music industry, recording and music sharing, and just talk a little bit about background, a lot about where things are headed and how things are converging onto digital platforms, the internet writ large, but also mobile technologies and things that haven't been invented yet. We'll talk about regulation, we'll talk about media studies, critical media theory a little bit. It's going to be a lot of overview, kind of the really 30,000 foot view of all this stuff. But hopefully it's meaningful for you and helpful, and we'll teach you some things about the mass media, core concepts and theories, and what it can mean for you as a professional, regardless of what field you go into. So that's the structure of the class. Go over and check out the quiz now. You should be more than ready for that. And thank you very much for taking this class. Look forward to an enjoyable semester with you. And if you got any questions, you know where to find me. Thanks again.